There's a lot of weird stuff about reality that is sort of right there in front of us, but because we don't understand it, because we don't pay attention to it, um, they just seem like stories. They don't seem like it's something that's real. And I mean, they've made movies. That guy that wrote that movie that talks to dead people. I always looked at every form of television or movies, media, entertainment. Um, Sometimes I don't. I perceive that everybody sees the world exactly the same way I do. Nothing could be further from the truth. Which means the way you view your reality, most people don't see it the way you do. And it didn't used to be that way. It used to be a lot simpler and everybody agreed with everybody. But the more we tend to multiply and put this type of economic system that we have to work in, the way it works is you have to be the master at everything. I mean, I came up with this bottled water concept. It needs to have information shared with it, a documentary, some form of education that teaches you a new science. Not my science. Mind you, I could see everything, and I'm pretty sure that maybe everybody else could see the same thing. You're just not awake to it. You're not fully aware. It's like you really have to use your intuition, and intuition has been suppressed. It is one of your strongest forms of communication. We communicate with, well, for touch, typing, um, sight, you read, talking, listening. We're receiving and sending out information with a lot of different senses, and intuition is one of the. It's totally connected to telepathy. Some people can read minds. Um, I'm not one of those, but I can read your mind based on what you've attracted. So, is that what telepathy is? Is the ability to look at the environment and how the other person is perceiving that environment to see what's on their mind. Because that's what the law of attraction is what's inside you is what you're going to attract. So, what your inner self, the secrets that you're never going to tell anybody, well, it's going to be reflected out in your outer world. So, lots of times people that are extremely overweight, it is their protective coating. um, Storage. You gotta fight flight fear that you're never going to have enough, or you don't feel accepted, so you want to be in control of not being accepted, so you put up the shield because you don't want anybody to know who you really are. But you let everybody know that you have a shield up so nobody can get to you. I mean, if you look at how one holds themselves and how they perceive their reality and the events that they experience every day, for somebody to have a stressful day means they were thinking something before that stressful day was even experienced. They were attracting that experience because how they were feeling inside before they even started their day. That's why there's some motivational speakers are saying that what you think about first thing in the morning sets your day. So you could have a thought, a memory that pissed you off, which is something that I had to go through with my years of hell and finding out that all systems happen to be totally dysfunctional. And it feels like it's personal because a lot of people have experienced before me what I've experienced, and nobody warned me. Everybody was manipulating me into thinking I had rights. You got no rights unless you got a lawyer that'll pay for your rights, and your lawyer's got to be better than whatever lawyer you're fighting to get your rights for. So, um, the mind has a way of creating all of reality, and it starts from within, and it starts from those little voices, you know, the voice that tells you the difference between right and wrong, the one that you're talking to. Well, that voice inside has all of the answers, you just don't know how to tap into it. And that's what a lot of the psychiatric world has been trying to do, is like, lie down and tell me what you're thinking about. And it's just a matter that a counselor is supposed to have good questions for you to realize what's deep inside you, but you can actually ask yourself your own questions and become aware of yourself instead of going to a psychologist that's only going to push his reflection. Most psychologists get into the field because they've got issues and they think that they're going to solve the world by, if I only got everybody, control everybody out there, then my world will be perfect. I found all the answers. It's them. And to a great extent, I mean, it's such a wild picture, but um, with abuse, if I was going into a women's shelter and they were telling me, hey, you're creating this, that would have offended me because, okay, no, he's breaking the law. He's doing something wrong. I mean, we can all see how freaking wrong this man is. You know, he's not feeding his children, he's um, basically starving them. Um, and making sure that they hated their mother while they lived with me. So I would have fought that tooth and nail if somebody actually told me that I was the one that was creating my experience. Um, but in fact, I was. So why would somebody attract an abusive experience? Now, for me, I wanted to understand the meaning of life. I know that of myself. I know that I've been asking those questions since I was a kid. When I was in kindergarten, I couldn't really relate to people. Um, so I would sit out, you know, and lie on the grass and look at the sky and wonder, why is it blue? And I already knew that there was photos, you know, all of the scientific reasoning of why the sky is blue. But I'm saying, yeah, but why blue? Why not green? Why do we all agree that that color we're going to look at is going to be called blue and we're all going to perceive it in the same blue way? Um, that's 5 years old. So, and I've always been accused of being a know it all. You know, those kids that you hate? I would be one of those kids because I always had the answer to something. And people would always say, oh, you think you know it all. And so I've asked a lot of questions of the universe. And I just ended up getting a lot of answers back. And it's like everybody's doing it. It's, look at the questions you're asking. Are they good questions? Are they serving you? What good does it do? Um, so you want to ask productive type questions to see your reality. Um, and I know that in order for me to fully understand the meaning of life, I had to have this abusive experience because I've had to understand the victim side of it, and I had to understand um, my ex-husband and my father and my grandfathers. And as it turns out, the same pattern that replayed in my life is replayed in our social life and our global life. Um, it's amazing how big this picture really is. And I thought it was just my immediate family that I was looking at. So that's why it kind of explains YouTube, because it does involve us socially. Um, I react and respond to what comes at me. And the master of the game is the one that can master your reaction and know the direction you want to go into, know your purpose of where you're going. And so I can sit here and go, poor fucking me, had all of this really bad shit on a friggin' welfare system. Life is not pleasant. Hard to find a man that I can relate to and who relates to me and have that attraction and that chemistry and that perfect, you know, picture of what I'm looking for. So it really feels like, okay, the world is going to hell. And what is the purpose of all of this? Why do I know what I know? Why do I see things differently than everybody else? And it's because I'm supposed to do something with it. Why else does anything happen to you? Because you're supposed to learn and grow from it and do something with it. To me, that's the only answer that makes any sense. It's the only answer that says, okay, it's worth waking up. That, okay, if all of these problems are coming from me directly, because remember, things start from inside you subconsciously, and you are like law of attraction attracting it. So when you say you got to try this thing out, it's not try it out, it's understand why you're attracting what it is you're attracting and shift that. Don't go and think positive, you know this will work, this will work, this will work. As you doubt yourself, you're going to create doubt. You're going to create the constant experience of this will work, this will work, of hoping something will work. Hope is like a very dangerous thing. Don't ever hope. Make it. Make it a damn sure thing. This is going to happen. Because you know what? If you announce anything out in the world, who's the one that's going to say it can't be done? Somebody else's limited belief in what can be done and what the possibilities are. It's like this is just a fucking game. It's being the master of the game. You are the controller. You wanted to be here in this human experience in this specific time. Every single one of us that are born on this planet now are freaking geniuses. You got a purpose. It's like you got to wake up to your purpose. That's it. And heaven can be created so freaking fast, but it's a matter of we got to swallow that pill that says, do you know you're attracting your experiences? And um, so I needed to learn the meaning of what it is we're doing, and why we're doing what we're doing, and what it takes for us to do something completely different. But at the same time, trying to be aware of myself. I always seen when this was going on in the back of my mind, I'm saying this whole system needs to crash. This whole system is totally fucked. So those words that I was saying is actually going out into the universe and creating just that. It's like I feel like a god that's saying, oh, do this to me. Watch this. I'm going to crash the whole friggin' system. The problem is that I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that are saying the world is falling apart. And is the world looking like it's falling apart? I know that my kids have always said that they wanted a completely different system. And how many people are angry, screaming, protesting for a different system? So, in order for something different to come up, this one does have to crash. It's got to go. So it's just in the process of going. So there will be some sick people out there, and they'll be in police or army looking type dudes, but they're going to be a little mentally ill and not really understand what they're doing. But if we know what we're doing, and we are the ones in control of our thoughts, we can actually control any of these big bad people just simply because there's more of us. But we all have to be on the same page and say, we're rebuilding a new planet. I'm part of the change. Yes, everything was fucked up, which is why I'm for change. And it's time to just get an understanding of why we've done what we did. Um, in the best interest of my children, it's not good for me not to forgive and try and overcome the past and grow and learn. From my father to my ex-husband, I mean, the more family gets along, the better. That's the only way to do it. So it's like I'm totally open, but it's like the rest of you have to come to that peace table too. So it's not a matter of phone your senators or phone your representative. That's been done before. It didn't work. Control your mind, control your thoughts. Visualize what you want done, but do it with love. because what you hate is what you turn into. They don't really care about you, so you're going to go back and not care about them, then they're not going to care about you, and the war goes on. So now you got to send out love to your enemy, and then they'll come back a little loving, and then it won't be so bad. Peace out.